All right, guys, we're moving along. We're kind of gaining some time here so that you guys have more time in the back end. But yeah, so today we cooked wild rice in the pot here. Your simple ratio of 1 to 1.25. But yeah, like speaking with Christine, there's different ways to cook the rice. It just depends on how they would like the rice and their end product. But typically, she was asking me about white rice. It's typically a 1 to 1 ratio. The rice cooking process is you wash your rice with water and make sure that the water runs clear. Then you drain the water and let it sit for 10 minutes. At that point, the rice grains are absorbing some of the moisture. And then you do a 1 to 1 ratio of however much rice you have, you do the same amount of water. And then you turn it on. And it comes out pretty good. But so yeah, we cook the rice in here in this unit. This is the 42HZP. This is the one that can hold for 8 hours, which is a long time. So don't only think about rice. Think about other products, quinoa, lentils, maybe some bulgur wheat. Our testing with Barani boys, they use heavy spices. Mac and cheese, possibly. But some of your ethnic cuisines, they will add spice or other ingredients, maybe like tomatoes, and that can settle at the bottom. But don't be discouraged, because that's going to happen to every other rice cooker out there. There are, they can get the non-stick pan, and that would help. But if you come across that, like, we can have a talk about that. But it's going to happen to a lot of pans with the cultural type foods. We have a couple units here in the facility. In the break room, there is a 1025, I believe. Pretty easy to use. I'm sure it's been there for years, but it's got the dial on it, so you can go all the way to, I think, was it 2 minutes maybe? So you can't really program that. It's pretty simple to use. And then in the conference room upstairs, we have the 1064, where we can program it a little bit more. And then we have the Pro ones here, 17521. Yes. You're just doing your basic maintenance of cleaning the interior, making sure it's clean. You don't have food debris or food product in there that's caked on if they happen to splatter. But that you can do with a hot towel and wipe it all out. These have like silicone corners too, so it's not the water or moisture is not gonna get in there. But pretty much that's the only maintenance. Maybe some dust bunnies in the back and making sure that that's free of dust for proper airflow. But besides that, that's it. That was just to show you the stir stick, which I'll do right now. So for the Pro ones, there's 2 tabs underneath. This tray comes out because the stir stick is kind of hidden above this. And that's the stir stick. Well, you guys can see it later. You guys can walk up, but the stir stick is hidden there so that your operator doesn't hit the stir stick. And we'll pop that back in. So this one we have available if we have clients that need to come out and test it out. It's also nice too because you can fit these half pans in there. So if they're doing product and they're putting it in a half pan, they're retherming it to a specific temp, then they can go from microwave to hot well or microwave to hot hold. Right? It makes it a lot easier that you can put a half pan in there. And then 3280, which we'll do some stuff right now as I talk. So bacon, I always think this is kind of cool just because it cooks in its own fat. So we just trade it up like this, one layer. So we're gonna put the lid on to trap the steam a little bit. It's gonna render the fat and then cook in its own fat. And we're doing this 5 minutes on high with a 1 minute rest. So doesn't matter if we put it on the top shelf or bottom shelf. You can also take out the shelf if need be. These are also silicone on the edges, so it keeps it nice and clean. Yes, which we did that yesterday. So we'll put the bacon in. Basic, really simple microwave procedures. You're going to select your power level. So we said high. And then we're going to do 5 minutes. So you see it counts it by the seconds and then goes to the minutes. And the max amount of time for this is 15 minutes. So 15 minutes for one cook cycle, but you can do a 3-stage cooking process. What that means is that we can cook it 5 minutes, and we can do another 5 minutes at a different time frame, different power level, or if we need to add a hold time, that could be the 3rd stage. Some places will do that because when do you know that your microwave is done cooking? It beeps. So for your operators, it's the same thing too. So when they hear it beep and there's no rest period, the rest period is also good for letting it allow to sit there and cool down a little bit. So it allows your operators to give it a little hold time so that they're not taking it out and it's piping hot. Or if it's a starchy product, to allow it to absorb the moisture into the product. But yeah, I think it's worldwide. If you hear a beep from a microwave, you're like, oh, it's done. I'm gonna pull it out. Where sometimes you want to let it rest for a couple minutes. And I think on some of the packaging that you cook in a microwave, it tells you to wait a minute or 2 minutes before you take it out. So when your end users or your operators are doing that, they can program that into their system already or into the microwave. That way, when they hear the beep, they know it's a true rest period that happened. Programming is pretty simple. There's these 2 tabs down below that you just pull off these screens. Try not to let your end users remove these because they might lose them. But this is when you talk about programming, I talk only to managers or above. I don't show that to the your cooks or your operators. Specific, like it's only management level or above. Just for we don't want anyone changing their recipes of the programs. You hit the program button. Hello, moisture's coming out. You'll hit the program button, hold it, and then on the screen it'll illuminate and say PROG for programming. Then you select your number. So these ones you can go, it's A shift, B shift. So you can have 16 different programs if needed. So you select the number, then you do the power level, time, and you can do your 3-stage process like that as well. And then you lock the programs. Then you put these back, and they're good to go. That is some. You can. I stick with a rice cooker only because when you cook rice in here, you need a 6-inch hotel pan, and you're cooking maybe a max of 2 to 3 quarts of rice because the steam is going to come out, and then your volume of rice is going to increase, and you're already taking up space in there. And then the time frame on that is 40 minutes. So it just doesn't equate to like if you're just using a rice cooker when you can get it done in 20. Good question though. So we're doing bacon, and then I'll grab some salmon. So we got a couple things. Earlier this morning, we pre-cooked some macaroni and cheese. I think in P&W we cook pasta, so we cook the shell pasta. So you basically take a 4-inch hotel pan, fill it with water, throw in your pasta, season your water, and put it in the Sonic steamer, and cook pasta in about 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes, depending on the pasta. We drained it, and then we reheated some mac and cheese sauce in the high-speed steamer in about 6 minutes. So total cook time maybe 16, let's say 20 minutes. And we had macaroni and cheese up in the Pacific Northwest. Pretty efficient. Today we rethermed macaroni and cheese, so you can do that as well. Basically, you take it out of the aluminum tray, you pop it into a high heat Cambro pan. Depending on thickness and density, I mean, we cooked it in 10 minutes, I believe. We'll let that steam out a little bit. See if I don't burn myself. Residual steam coming off. I did it, guys. I did it. So I don't know if you guys could see that. So it's kind of like, it's kind of cool to me because you're like making bacon in a microwave and you're getting it crispy. When I was showing it to Spencer yesterday, he's like, "Is it gonna make it crispy?" I was like, "Yeah, like it's cool, right?" Like, so these are some simple. I mean, for Spencer, Christina, Craig. Craig, I guess Craig doesn't have a unit out there yet. But up north, this is a pretty simple demonstration that you can do. And it just showcases versatility, and also the cooking process in a microwave. And it smells good. The bacon there, and then we're gonna throw in the salmon. So healthcare places, they want to retain the nutrients as much as possible. They want it healthy. We're gonna do high power. We're gonna do 6 minutes. Yes. No. Highly like it won't. Like, we're cooking, so the pan is closed, and I know there's some steam escaping, but there's also air that's coming out as well. So, I mean, you tell me later on today, but Sean? Thank you, Sean. I think more so too with this is. So what is being, sorry, go ahead, Todd. Um, it depends on the product. I'm sure there's some products you can do with the lid off. The lid on helps it to steam and encapsulate the steam inside and cook a little bit faster. Steam is your friend in this process. No, because you want it to cook in a fat, and if you put a parchment, it's not in contact with the fat. Like, the fat will just come off the sides.
they were shellfish.
Right. Upselling too. Yeah. You know. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Christine's question was about allergies and using the same unit. That is a possible issue, but if you can prove your case to get two different ones, because if you're having allergies, you get two cutting boards, you get two different knives, you get a separate something for that allergy, for allergies. Here we have it on a Cambro shelf, which is pretty nice. Thank you, Dan, because probably wouldn't have thought about putting it on a shelf before. I just had it on a tabletop, but now it's portable. We can move it in and out of the showroom, but also for our clients and end users, added value of stacking, right? So if they are allergic or have these allergies, they can stack it. Oh, maybe too much time. Did you hear the popping? So yes, we put the salmon. It's about 18 pieces of salmon in this high heat Cambro pan. So far, we cooked it for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I just heard some popping, and that's probably because it's pretty fast at cooking. No water. What? So again, we're cooking, we're rapidly agitating water molecules inside so that we can cook fast. Yeah, let's check it. You say, sir. Christine wants to check the temp on the salmon to make sure that that's true. And what temp can we cook seafood at? Yeah, we're reading about 130. So probably the high power was a little bit too much. Put it in again at medium. It will. For sure. You know what? Let's see. Cook Shack rub. You like that plug? No. He had a. Sean was asking if I was as generous as Stuart. I think Stuart has a heavy hand in seasoning for sure. But here we're you know, I forgot to season the salmon before I went in, but we'll season it right now. And just for added value, I'll throw it in there for another 2 minutes on medium or low, just to really get it through. Bring it to that cooking temp. Let's say a minute. So that's pretty fast. So in the 3280, we can boil 1 cup of water in about 45 seconds. That's pretty fast. Right. So that's just pretty fast. Now I'm going to grab some frozen veggies. Like these frozen veggies. Correct. So frozen veggies, if they're IQF, there is some residual moisture on it, just based on how they freeze the product. Some of them will have like a shell of ice on it, but predominantly all the vegetables, there's just minimal amount of moisture on it. So this is how we're going to cook it. Cool. Salmon is done. We're pulling that out. Throwing our frozen veggies in. Clear that. I think I want a high power, and we'll do 3 minutes. High power for the veggies, yeah.
That's why I like to say both at the same time.
Yeah.
Just taste it to believe it. Yeah, Jill was asking if we'll get flavor transfer, but it's likely that you're not going to get flavor transfer with this.
The steamer, because it's a microwave steamer, there's still microwave oven too. As how does it not get flavor transfer?
Good question. I'll ask Neil about that. But I think a lot of it is if you're encapsulating in a container, you don't have that flavor coming out. So I will hold this in our trusty FWE cabinet. What? Oh, I guess I could. Yeah. Christine wants me to temp it. Just that's good. We're at 153 right now, 156 going up. So what makes sense is that we were cooking at high power. It's probably too much. We agitated the water molecules too fast. It's not a containment structure for like a salmon. That's why you can see it kind of exploded a little bit. So we dropped the power level down. So we're cooking at a lower voltage, lower wattage for a longer time. So if I started at medium power and cooked it for maybe 4 minutes, it probably would have been right there. You okay, Shane? Shane's dancing over here. About 45 seconds left on the veggies. And we'll activate the high-speed oven. We're at 11:15 right now. We're on target. So once those veggies come out, you'll see that they're pretty cooked. They're pretty hot. And then we'll move right into the high-speed oven. We'll do one live demonstration on chicken tenders. And then we'll get set up for lunch. That was this. Good. Okay. Christine said live demos are really helpful. Is it helpful for everyone else? Then I need to do more live demos. So just still under, I can see it. Still a little bit frozen, but still a lot faster. So think about if we're cooking vegetables or steaming it, we have to wait for the steamer to fill up with water, or we need to wait for the steamer to get hot. We're losing nutrients. This is plug and play for your end users or for your clients. They just have to put the food product in there, the correct time, and it's a lot less time wasted on their labor. No drains, no hoods. Obviously, I have it under a hood just for you guys to see it, and for the camera angle. But the efficiency is there, right? Any other questions? Paul, no questions? All right. Do we have any? I guess dealers wouldn't be stocking the 3280s.
The 17s too heavily, like you a little bit of that makes it match, but
Okay. Not too much, but definitely the 3280s are in the market. They're out in the market.
to get that going, that'll get you there.
Biggest competitor would be Amanda.
Biggest competitor is Amana. Why are they the competitor? I'm just asking. I don't.
Because they've got it.
They've got similar technology that we're doing.
And a lower price.
Yeah.
Is that sharp?
Banana.
Makes sense. Lower price, same technology.
Close.
One thing to note that Panasonic has improved upon in the last 3 months, and I'm still working on it, is the service side of things. So they do, they're putting more focus on internal service network. So FS Logistics will still be our main contact for that, but nationwide, they established sort of when the owner set up. So they have one, they have a team within Panasonic now that is responsible for large service. Before it was, so they utilized ASAs, but before it was sort of service requests could get lost in ether at times, but they're in for a lot of focus on more structured approach service.
Here we go. Nice steamed veggies. 6 minutes. And from frozen. So pretty efficient. And do I have room? We can do this. Put that up there. We'll close this door. I'll grab my chicken tenders for live demonstration. I need to get my Panasonic accessories. Yeah. So Panasonic, this is the silicone mat that comes with it. Also the tray. So we're gonna put 6 pieces in here. Sorry, 8 pieces. Again, depending on the product is where we're gonna alter time, temperature, and microwave. But these ones are on the thinner side. They're pre-cooked. You can do raw chicken. One thing about this unit, you can do raw proteins. It just takes a little bit longer to cook. So if your operator has stuff that is pre-cooked, it just cooks a little bit faster, a little bit more efficient, especially in a speed oven. But yeah, we'll put this in here. Yes.
Right.
It's a good question. How often do we replace the tray? Depending on use, if it's heavy use, probably every 6 months or so. You'll start to see the edges of the silicone tray fray out, and that's when you want to replace it.
Operators tend to leave it in the cavity when they're not cooking, and it sits at 500 degrees.
Yeah.
Then it gets replaced pretty fast.
Yes, yes. Okay, so you'll see here, this is how the main screen is going to look if they're in the memory mode. We've already preset the items. This is just, it's reheating. So it's telling me it's ready. Oop. It's already preloaded with a bunch of recipes on there. Ours is number 17 because we locked it in at 4 minutes. Actually 0 microwave because it's so thin that we didn't need any microwave. We're cooking with just all the heat and the fan. So yes, you can turn that off. I believe at P1, it's like the lowest setting for microwave. You can go up to 3 minutes of cooking, and that's just based off of your cooking process of if it's that low of a wattage, then you don't need 3 minutes, or you don't need more than 3 minutes. That makes sense. You're gonna dry out your product basically, because you'll need a different volt or a different wattage of cooking. So we'll just set that in there, hit 17, start. So that's basically what the operators are doing. Once it's all set up and good to go, they're reaching for their food product, they're putting it on the tray, they're popping it into the machine. They can finish the sale, bring them up, maybe get them a beverage, and then in 4 minutes or less, they can have a sandwich or a food product, where it makes a lot of sense in some of those markets, kind of like a brewery, right? They just need this and maybe a freezer or refrigeration unit, maybe a hot holding unit, and then they can make the sales off of that. Typically what breweries are doing is they're having a food truck come in, and the food truck takes 100% of the money. Where if they just, budget out for some equipment and some space, they can make more money just besides beer. And I'm sure they all want to do that, right? Yeah. Cleaning and maintenance. Michelle, you brought it up about the microwaves, but this pops off. This is a filter. They can just run it underwater and remove any dust bunnies, let it dry, reinstall. This is a catch tray for grease. I've done a lot of tests and I've used this a lot. I rarely see anything in here, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Even Neil from Panasonic says like he always checks it, but there's nothing in there. Yeah.
Fried products, you can expect there's grease, like trying to do a steak.
I've done chicken wings, and it's not heavy in fat. So, and then right here, there's a screw. So you unscrew this, a little latch opens, and then this is where you take your SD card. Obviously, on the newer models, it won't be like that, but and you just pop this back in, and you're good to go. The stacking kit, I believe it's a plate on the back, and it gets bolted in onto the back side. So you just stack another one on top. Correct. Have you seen multiple?
That's a great question. I haven't seen 3.
Theoretically,
But I don't see
right?
why you wouldn't be able to finish it. I mean,
That would be pretty cool to see like 9 lined up, and you're just like,
Right? We might just get some bodies.
Yeah.
oh, we got 50 seconds left. This should be coming out a little golden brown, a little bit more color on it. Yeah, speed ovens. Pretty neat. And then we'll get set up for lunch. 2 minutes. Sorry, 30 seconds. Once you guys see this.
Programming is available on there. I know you mentioned, microwave percentage, What time?
I was asking what kind of programming is available. So yes, convection, broil, time, the microwave power. I think that's a 4, yeah.
Able to program through the control panel, or do you have to do it on your desktop, on the SD card, and then load the SD card?
Good question. Mike was asking about if I can program it manually. So there's your chicken tendies. Yes, you can. You can program it directly on this. It just takes a little bit more time just because you have to go back. This is kind of like your home screen. Once they plug it in, it'll go here. You select the heat level. But if, let's say we want to program it, we go to manual. We still select a heat source or heat level. That will heat up. It should heat up fairly quick since we already had it at that heat temp. And then it'll break it down. If you're selecting convection, it turns off the broil automatically.
Andy, do they have
Which-
a cookbook which gives you some starting points?
Correct. 3-stage. So there you go. Convection, broil, microwave, and fan speed. Sorry. And additional time, right? Because you gotta have a length of time. So this way you can manually program it. And at the end of the cook cycle, it will say cancel or memory. Then you hit memory if you want to save it, and then put it in a corresponding number relation. For this one, it came with 16 preset recipes, so we set it at 17. But you can't put the photo in here. You have to go to the computer to set up photo. And for users, it's a huge thing to see the food product. You're like, oh, chicken tender instead of a number. So, all right. We're gonna get lunch set up in about 5 minutes. You guys, bio break, make some phone calls, and get it done. Thank you.
I think we're good. All right, thank you, guys.
No, Cole and I got it. Thank you though.
We're all good
So
to
what
go.
we're gonna do is we're gonna basically